What's up guys, today I'll be taking a look at the Phoenix 2.0 foam dart blaster from the company Worker Toys. Now, unlike other blasters that you've seen on my channel before, this here is a flywheel blaster. How flywheel blasters work is that they have motors inside that spin some wheels and a dart gets pushed into the wheels and then flung out of the blaster, similar to a baseball or tennis ball pitching machine, but with Nerf darts. The Phoenix 2.0 has 6 of these wheels, 3 in a row on the top and 3 in a row on the bottom, and also has a 7th motor at the rear which pushes darts in from the magazine automatically. Now, my Phoenix 2.0 is a pre-production unit that's missing the fire control module that the final version will have. So mine can only do full auto firing, but once the final version comes out with the fire control unit, you'll be able to do 3-round bursts, 4-round bursts, etc. All that kind of stuff with the MOSFET that's on board. Now, before I get started with the overview of the blaster, I just want to point out that in the particular place that I play, flywheel blasters like this are completely obsolete due to the existence of gel blasters. Gel blasters have about the same accuracy as a flywheel Nerf blaster, while also having 10 to 20 times more ammo capacity in the magazines. So a gel blaster does the same thing, way better. However, I realise that Nerf is a worldwide sport and not everywhere, even in Australia, allows gel blasters to be a thing. In fact, they're completely illegal in all but 2 states. So for the context of this review, it'll just be Nerf versus Nerf comparisons. Something else I'll try in this video today is to improve on that horrible accuracy of flywheel blasters by attempting to add one of the brand new bearing scar barrels to the front of the barrel, which adds spin to the Nerf darts. On a spring-powered Nerf blaster, the bearing scar reduces velocity by basically nothing, so hopefully in a flywheel blaster, it also does the same. But first, let's give you an overview of the Phoenix 2.0. When I first opened the box, aside from the 3 different ways they've spelt Phoenix on there and the rather foreboding message coming from a Chinese company, the first thing I noticed is how cartoonishly large this blaster is compared to my expectations. Compared to an MP7 that I think this is kind of going for with the stylization, and you can see one up on the wall behind me, this is much larger in every single dimension. My second thought after getting over how large the blaster was where is the rubberized grip that's supposed to be on the handle? It's nowhere to be seen in the box, so it seems Worker left that out by accident. And when I messaged them, here's the response I got. So what Worker's going to do is when they send the fire control unit to me to test on the blaster, they're also going to send me the grip. So in the meantime, just pretend that I have a black rubberized grip on there. I'm sure it is comfortable to hold, although the grip is quite large to allow Worker mags to fit inside. So it's quite chunky in the hand to hold. The entire blaster is made of plastic, and it uses hex head screws into brass inserts rather than screwing into plastic itself. In the bottom of the front vertical grip, you can find an Allen key that fits all of the screws on the blaster. Conveniently, if you want to do any kind of field maintenance, you always have that with you. Starting at the front of the blaster, we have an orange muzzle brake which fits over Worker faux barrel. The faux barrel has an outer diameter of 19mm, so you'd be able to attach any kind of gel ball suppressor or any airsoft suppressors also designed to friction fit onto 19mm. In order to test that bearing scar barrel, which I'll show you the results of later in the video, I did have to make my own aluminium barrel for the Phoenix 2.0 because the bearing scar barrel, like most scar barrels in Nerf, fits onto a 16mm outer diameter. Now, with the way that a flywheel blaster works, the dart is at its maximum velocity the instant it leaves the last flywheel. So going through aluminium by itself would reduce the velocity through friction, and then going through the bearing scar barrel afterwards will reduce the velocity a little bit as well as it imparts spin on the dart. So later on in the video, I'll test how much the aluminium drops it by, and then how much the bearing scar barrel drops it by. At the front of the blaster here, there's a dial which adjusts the rate of fire of the blaster. Basically, it just adjusts the speed that the 7th motor that's at the back pushing darts in runs at. At lowest, I managed to get 1 dart every 1.5 seconds, and at highest, I managed to get 7 darts per second. Moving further back from the muzzle now, we have a vertical grip that's a simple friction fit in with a retention notch and button to release it. Unfortunately, this vertical grip doesn't fold up or collapse or anything, and unfortunately I also found that it can fall off by itself just by using the blaster. So something to be aware of running around out on the field is that you could possibly lose that front grip if you're not holding onto it. The front iron sight is open top and quite wide in diameter. It has a fiber optic sight post in the center, and moving back from there you've got a Picatinny rail that goes about half the length of the receiver. Then you've got the battery door, and then you've got the rear iron sight, which has a fiber optic either side. Now, unfortunately, the iron sights are so low down on the blaster that they're impossible to actually use. When you get your head down uncomfortably low on the stock here, so you can actually see from the back sight to the front sight, the Picatinny rail gets in the way. So if you're someone who likes to actually aim with your blasters, I definitely recommend putting like a red dot sight on there, and just don't even bother with these iron sights, they're just for looks. The battery door uses the same hex head screws as the rest of the blaster, so you can just use that Allen key from the vertical grip to open it. The battery I'm using is a 2200 mAh 3S40C Turnigy, and it has an XT60 connector. It's very cramped inside. I have to tuck the wires down the side of the battery here, otherwise the battery lid won't close. Down at the bottom here, the trigger guard seems excessively large to me, but perhaps you could use the trigger guard as a front grip when the vertical grip falls off. The mag release is not ambidextrous, so good luck left-handers. When holding the blaster left-handed, I found it easiest to use my thumb, but you could also awkwardly use your trigger finger. The mag does free drop though, which is really nice. The magwell does have a slight flare to it, although a larger one would have been nice. I'm sure you could add an extension afterwards. In fact, I'm sure someone's probably already working on a 3D printed one. At the back of the blaster, you've got a PDW style stock with 5 different locking positions. Fully extended, it does have some flex to it, but for it being completely made of plastic, it's not horrible. At the bottom, there's a thumb screw that allows you to completely remove the stock if you want to use the Phoenix 2.0 as an oversized pistol instead. It also has ambidextrous sling points which stay on even when you remove the buttstock, which could make this a good secondary blaster to sling. But that pretty much covers the overview of the blaster now. So let's load up some of the brand new red worker darts provided by Blaster Haven. Discord link down below to this Melbourne, Australia based retailer. Blaster Haven sales are done through a Discord server. Browse to the product you want to buy and click on it to open a web form. Enter your details and you'll receive a PayPal invoice to pay for the products. And now head outside to the Battle for Waterloo skirmish field and see how this shoots over the chronograph. First of all, completely stock standard. Stock barrel installed, nothing done to the blaster. Straight out of the box, we're getting a high of 157, low of 136, and an average of 146. For a flywheel blaster with 6 flywheels, I think an average of 146 feet per second is abysmally low. My old FDL3 blaster, before I got rid of it, managed the same velocity on 2 flywheels. I would have been much happier if this with 6 flywheels did something like 250 FPS or something actually impressive. But now with my barrel installed, but without the bearing scar just yet, let's see the loss from friction in the tighter aluminium barrel. With the aluminium barrel, we got a high of 153, a low of 127, and an average of 141. So with just the aluminium barrel installed, it seemed to drop the average velocity by only 5 feet per second. So now let's throw on that bearing scar barrel and see how much that drops velocity by. With the bearing scar barrel, we had a high of 126, low of 103, and an average of 114. Compared to just having the aluminium barrel installed, the bearing scar barrel dropped average velocity by a whopping 27 feet per second. But it could be worth it for some potential accuracy gains? Let's find out. I'll now compare the accuracy of all three setups, and I'll start at a close range distance of 15 meters so that all the shots should hit the target. Then the most accurate of the three configurations, I'll shoot from back at 30 meters like I usually do. Stock barrel first, 15 meters. From 15 meters, all shots hit the target with a stock barrel. Now for my aluminium barrel. With the aluminium barrel, the shots actually on the target seem to be grouped about the same, but I had one dart drop short. Off camera, I fired a bunch more shots and it seems about 1 in 10 darts is dropping short of the target like that was. Because of that, I have to say stock is better, but now let's add the bearing scar and see how that goes. Just like the aluminium barrel by itself, the bearing scar added on also had a dart drop short of the target. And overall, it looks like the bearing scar made things worse. So I have to call the bearing scar barrel experiment a bit of a failure. It didn't increase the accuracy, in fact, both configurations made it worse compared to stock. So now I'll head back to a 30 meter distance away and see how the stock blaster shoots at a target of 1 meter in diameter. From a distance of 30 meters, the Worker Phoenix 2.0 Flywheel Blaster actually did better than I expected. 4 shots missed a target, 8 shots hit, so I had a 2/3 hit rate at 30 meters. However, here's how a spring-powered Nerf blaster shoots at the same distance with the same ammunition. In this case, the spring-powered blaster is the Saber M20 construct. Personally, I much prefer the accuracy of spring-powered blasters, but in a theoretical world where gel blasters don't exist, I can see a run-and-gun playstyle using cover to get close to people and then full autoing them to be quite effective and quite fun, even if it's not for me. Something I will add though is that 30 meters seemed to be about borderline maximum range of the Phoenix 2.0. I had to arc the blaster considerably upwards to reach the target at 30 meters. So, what are my final thoughts of the Phoenix 2.0 Flywheel Blaster? For starters, the blaster is cartoonishly large compared to what you'd expect from seeing the photos of it. Secondly, I would never personally use this blaster. It only shoots 150 feet per second, and we play with a 300 FPS velocity limit here at Battle for Waterloo. Although, even if this shot an absurd 300 feet per second for a flywheel blaster, I still don't know that I'd use it. Having to take 2 to 3 shots to hit someone with an 18 dart capacity mag, and an ammo type you have to pick up afterwards, I'd much rather use a Springer that's guaranteed to hit with 1 dart every single time. I do realise though that there's definitely people out there who love spraying darts full auto, and maybe even your group only allows 150 feet per second playing in a public park or something. For those people, this is a ready to go blaster straight out of the box. Just add a battery and I'm sure you'll have a lot of fun with it. But let me know down below what you think of the Phoenix 2.0. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss future videos. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.